Ever wonder what the process is of building a cinder block crawl space foundation? Well, in this video, I'm on site and I'm gonna show you the step-by-step process of what it takes to put this whole thing together, how the water is gonna flow with it, and how the actual framing will attach to the foundation. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time I drop a new video that's gonna show you how to be a successful and confident home builder. Understanding what I talk about in this video is gonna better prepare you on building your foundation and the things that you can be looking for, watching out for to reduce any unnecessary costs and problems down the road. All right, come on, let's head over to the site and look at this foundation and all the things that you need to know about it. The foundation guys worked over the weekend to meet our schedule. They got everything just about finished up. So I wanna go over a few details here. So this is an attached home, okay? So we've got 2 units right here. My property line is literally right down the center. So this one's on its own lot, and this one again is on its own lot. So we'll have a double plate. What we're gonna have is our fire retardant wall come all the way down, and then each wall will build up from that point. So here it's gonna be a pony wall, because as you see, right here is the bottom of our floor height. So we'll have a pony wall built up to here. Why did we step down this foundation? We've stepped down this foundation to save massively on costs, because brick and block is a lot more expensive than wood. It's more aesthetically pleasing to have a framed wall up here with siding versus this massive block wall. So we're gonna have what's kind of like a parge, but a heavy parge, more of a stucco finish. If you just do a light parge, you'll still see all of the seams. We're doing a heavy parge slash stucco finished, and we're gonna have the color mixed into it. So whatever color matches the siding, it's gonna flow all the way through there. It'll be mixed in there, so we don't have to come back with a painter later and paint that afterward. These bolts right here are securing the foundation to the actual framing. So our first plate's gonna go down. We're gonna put the sill seal down. Sill seal is that kind of like foam barrier that separates the masonry from the lumber. Even though we're going to be using treated lumber, you still want that sill seal as a separation point. So we'll have the sill seal, we'll have the lumber, which is treated. That's gonna go over the top of each one of these bolts, and then there'll be washers and nuts to lock that down, and that's what secures this to the actual foundations. That's gonna be framed up, a pony wall. That pony wall will be this height right here. And then from there, we'll have plates that go down, and that's where we will start our actual first floor framing. We'll go from that height above. So right here, we have the access doors. This is the point of entry into our crawl space. And they typically leave these open about 40 inches. We're right at 39 inches, so roughly right at 40 inches. And then the height of our door, we're actually gonna have a pretty tall door. Will end up being about 6 foot. So most people can walk right into this door without even ducking on the back side. If you get towards the front, you'll notice that it goes to about 4 foot. There's gonna be one on each side of the units because this is an attached home, basically like 2 end units of a townhome. And they will be separated, each one of these crawl spaces. So you've got the foundation and then the pony wall. There's gonna be 2 pony walls, one on each side for each unit, and then fire separation in between those 2 walls. So the next step is gonna be the waterproofing. The waterproofing guys are gonna come tomorrow. What they're gonna be doing is they're gonna grade out this entire crawl space here. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna pitch this back to the back side. And then they'll probably have entry or an exit point, either this corner or this corner, kind of however they pitch it. If water does get inside this crawl space, it has a way to flow out and exit the crawl space. But on the outside here, they're going to be excavating a little bit more dirt right here. They're going to put a membrane on the foundation wall. The membrane will go just as high as what the grade is going to be. So in this case, it'll be down in here. Over there, it'll be much higher. And then they're gonna run a drain pipe, and that drain pipe's gonna come down. As you see, it's a high point, low point. It'll come out and it'll daylight somewhere out back here. They'll come back and grade this after we get our inspection. So they're going to do a foundation inspection. The foundation inspection includes seeing the waterproofing and making sure that we've got projection. Remember, we need at least 3 inches on each side of my footer. So my footer is 3 inches bigger than this foundation on each side. They want to make sure that we have the right projection on here. And they're going to check a couple other points along with the piers. After the inspectors come in, we'll have them come back. They'll do all the backfill. They're going to do a rough grade backfill. So they will take this to the point of where we need to be on both sides of this property line. As you see, we've only got a little better than 5 feet, almost 6 feet of space in between the two property lines here. So they have to very carefully get as high as we can get without going too high, because on these step downs, I typically like to stay about 2 blocks below, but no more than 1. So I want to stay at least 8 inches, because once they do the framing, my siding is going to drop a little bit below, and I need minimum of 6 inches per code, per a lot of different things, warranty of the side and such, to make sure that we don't have any kind of grade close to that point. So I like to stay here to have a little bit of space, but if they have to come up to pitch, and what they're going to do is they're going to create a swell. So they're going to swell out here, and as you see, we're even lower at this point. So they're going to have to drop. Basically what we need is when water comes between these two property lines, it has a way to direct and kind of flow off into the back. This is a very crucial point of your build to make sure that you've got your foundation heights at the right point. These foundation guys, they know how to do brick and block, right? They're not really thinking too much about water, the flow of what has to go on, you know, what the outcome is going to be at the very end. So we need to be thinking about the end goal there. And in this case, we don't have a lot to work with. So we have to make sure that our foundation is high enough to be able to kick up our grade and be able to create that V swell in here to divert the water off. Otherwise, all these neighbors over here, they're gonna be cussing me out because everything's just gonna flow into their yard, and we don't wanna create problems. We wanna make sure that we're taking care of all these problems at this point of the build. You don't think about this stuff now, it ends up costing you a lot of money. What I mean by that is, if you're not thinking about how this whole thing's gonna flow, then you may have to have an additional expense later and put a retaining wall over at the property line, which is gonna be a massively, large expense for no reason when you can literally prep for it all at this point in time. These bolts are much thicker than these bolts right here. This is for our front lug walls of our garage, requires these kind of bolts. This is very important with this load right here to make sure that we have the right size bolts for code. In this section, we only have this little bit of wall, and then we have this big opening. So it kind of like keeps everything secured a little bit more on these front walls, and that's why they require this. So the point I'm standing right now, way up here, is actually just puts us just above our street level. We want our garages to be just, right there, just a little bit above street level, so when water comes in, flows towards the house, we don't want it coming into the garage and end up pooling in the backside of our garage. So a couple of things here. They're going to, when they do the grading, they're going to bring it to this point, roughly this point. The point that they're shooting for is 2 blocks down is what our grade's going to be with the soil. But then what they're gonna do is they're gonna bring about 4 to 6 inches of gravel, and then they're gonna have 4 inches of concrete. But back here, they're actually gonna raise it up a little bit more. So our final concrete grade is gonna be right about this point. I like that it ended up at that point because, as you see, we have a small garage here. So that means that when I go into my door that is gonna be right here, I'm gonna have a door going into the house right here. I won't have to add steps in here. So if it was much lower and I have to put a landing or steps or anything like that, it's gonna come into this garage and make this garage basically useless. We're gonna just have like one little step right there. Because remember, our floor system is gonna be right about here. So we'll have this one step into the house, and it's not gonna really take from the garage because we've got our lug wall here. A lug wall is sticking out roughly about 10-12 inches, which is about what our step's gonna be. So it won't get in the way, won't interfere, it won't take away from our garage space. Another thing, if you notice in this garage, our footing stepped a couple of times, okay? So they're gonna be running our drainage pipe in here, And what they're gonna do is they're gonna pop a hole right here, and they're gonna end up going to the exterior wall, so that if anything gets in here, it comes down the sides, flows down through, or even comes in through the front there. It has a way to exit the building and get to the outside, tie into the outside drainage, and then daylight somewhere in the back. So the plans do not show these two walls, like up to where the front door is, and this right here where it's raised up. But we added this for the sake of the grade, not so much for this side, more for that side. And so we can bring the steps out here instead of bringing steps in over here. Over there, it's really necessary, and I wanted to kind of keep them congruent and match. So we did it on both sides. So we'll have steps coming out into our final grade over here, a couple steps, and then same thing over there. And then this is gonna be all filled in with concrete. If this video is helping you understand this process a little bit better and you're finding value in it, make sure you hit that like button. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Is this helping you get better prepared to be putting in a foundation and knowing all the things that you need to look for? Look, your comments help these videos get better and better, so don't hold back. Okay, we're getting ready to go back on site. This is a couple days later. Let's get back over to the site. We're gonna talk about the waterproofing part of it now. So where we are at right now in this project is we're doing the waterproofing. What that looks like is a couple different things. So when my guys excavated for the footers, we don't do any backfill yet, because now they're going through and they're spraying a membrane on the wall. Then they have like a sock drain that comes down that's attached to the wall. And as you see right here, we have our extension pieces, and right now they're just extending out like 3-4 feet. Later, when we do the landscaping, we'll bury this, we'll tie in our gutters to an additional underground drain, and we'll bury it and we'll tie it out and bring it out back. There's actually like a little ditch back behind us. It drops off, but we'll bury it and just have it taken right off of the property. As you can see right here beside me, the foundation steps. So this is the wall that is in between the two units. So even this wall is gonna step to reduce my cost. So we've got the steps on the exterior wall here. Again, this one steps 1, 2, even 3 times. So our floor system, we're gonna frame this up. So this ends up coming across just like this, all the way down to the back along, and then our floor system is gonna sit up here. The last thing that I'm gonna mention here is, again, we're sloped from front to back, and you see we've got a hole in the foundation right here, and then that pipes out. That is when and if water does get inside this crawl space, it'll come out. This is our lowest point. It's gonna drain out and then go out the back. Now it's gonna be finished off completely when we seal this crawl space. So we're gonna seal this crawl space. We'll show you that in a later video, but in this case, we're gonna have the walls. So we're gonna encapsulate the exterior walls with an insulation board. We're gonna take our vapor barrier membrane and we'll bring it up the wall, and everything will be seamless. So if there is any water that comes in, it typically comes in behind that membrane, and it will come along the sides and drain out. We just need an exit point for when it does come in here, because most likely in the state of North Carolina, the way our soils are, with the amount of rain that we have, we're probably going to have some water get inside this crawl space. It'll be super minimal. It probably won't even be enough to really drain unless we had some type of flood situation. It's really just kind of like condensation and such. It ends up draining out over in this space. So one of the things that we're doing here today is we're measuring the height of this pony wall, because we're getting ready to drop the materials for our floor system. So we have to put our floor system in, then we have to stop, get an inspection. Once that inspection's done, then we can build the house above that. So we need an open floor inspection. So for my material supplier, I need to let him know, because they have from plate up. That's what the plans show. What they don't know is what the site conditions are providing for us. So what they're providing for us is these step downs. So we're giving them those materials that we need, the length and width of what we need for our pony walls, so he can make sure that that material is here when they deliver the floor system. So the last thing that they need to finish up on this project is just this garage area and the porches here. They're going to finish with the membrane. They're going to run their sock drain all the way up through here. They have it where it punches out over here in the corner, and then they'll come back and they'll level all this out so that now we can do our termite treatment and get our inspections and all that, and then we can start framing. Okay, so this particular lot actually slopes from this way over, from that side over to this side, and front to back. So the way they designed this waterproofing system is they have everything just kind of tying in where it comes in through. So it goes from that porch to this garage, this porch into here, which ties in now and flows off into the back. The reason why this porch is going to be filled up with concrete, this garage that's going to be, there's going to be gravel in there. We're going to level out the dirt. We're going to put gravel in these two areas, and then we're going to put our concrete. Well, if water were ever to get inside of here, it's going to come. So when they put the concrete, they're going to have an expansion pad that goes up against this concrete, like a felt pad. And the water can seep through there. It can run down this wall right here. And when it does get down here, you'll never have standing water underneath here. So what's going to happen is it's actually going to hit that drain, and it's going to just kind of flow out. I hope this video has been helpful on showing you how to be better prepared to be putting in your foundation, the waterproofing, and everything else that goes along with it to make sure that you don't cost yourself time and money later on down the road. If you're still struggling, reach out to us at info@homebuildingbp.com. Put your questions in there and let's see how we can help you get better prepared. We'll see you on the next video.